happy people, it's Tracy Reed here today, coming at you with a page in my Life Crafted album using the Cocoa Daisy Treetop Canopy collection. And today I'm going to be telling a story about our most recent motorcycle ride and the first time we've been on the bike since 2019. And so I'm going to be using this large tag as a place to tell a somewhat long story. So I'm going to be adhering that to the page with a photo flip, and then I have this set of photos that I printed in a film strip sort of configuration, and I'm trying to figure out how to staple on this acetate piece effectively right over the middle of the photo, and so they kind of mirror each other. And what I'm working with today is sort of a vertical orientation, right? The pages are always vertical because obviously they are two 8.25 by 4.25 pages, but together they form a sort of square layout. But today I'm going to be really enhancing the vertical lines on this page, and I did that, the first way I did that was with the vertically striped, well, I guess horizontally striped, but the color pattern goes vertically down the left hand side of the page, and then I'm mimicking the tag on the right hand side with the tag on the left hand side, and then by printing out my photos in that film strip configuration, everything sort of has a long vertical stretch, and so that's kind of the vibe I'm going for with this page. And it's actually a fairly simple page to put together. The whole thing comes together in about 20 minutes, and so there's not a lot to it, but it comes out really sometimes, I go crazy and add a lot of layers, and sometimes I scrap a little bit more simply, and this one comes out a little bit more simply, and I really like the cleanness of the page. So I decided that the photo is a little bit dark with all of that navy blue in the background, so I'm going to mat it on this lighter blue paper, and the paper has arrows on it, so I think that works with the vibe of the layout as well. The photo series itself is a little dark because I'm wearing black and our helmets are black, so this helps to separate it from the background paper a little bit better and add a little bit more brightness to the page, especially since I'm using so many dark colors with that big red tag and all of the navy blue. So I'm going to offset the mat a little bit so it's not perfectly matted. And then I'm going to adhere the photo strip down so that it is a little bit tilted and not completely straight up and down. And what this does is that while the whole page is working together vertically, it creates just a little bit of eccentricity in the page, which makes it so that it's not so repetitive and not so perfectly up and down and vertical, and it just creates that little bit of interest. So I'm creating a hinge with cardstock for this tag, and so I have cut it down to 1 inch and then used my scoreboard to create a fold at the 1/2 inch mark, and I'm going to adhere it to the back of this tag, and then I'm going to sandwich the other side in between the blue plaid paper and the cardstock or the other layout that it is adhered to on the other side. That way the hinge itself is hidden, and I'm going to print out my journaling to go on the back of that tag, so when I print out my journaling it will cover that side of the hinge as well. So it's a fairly easy process and is a little bit more secure, or a lot of it more secure, than using washi tape. Plus you get the whole hidden portion of it so that it's not a distraction on your layout if that's not what you want. Okay. So I'm going to go and print out my journaling for this page before I go any further. That way I know what else I need to embellish, because I'm not going to have my journaling go all the way up to the top of the page. And I am also using a piece of paper from one of the Daisy Dories. I take them apart, but I've been keeping all of the graph paper inserts and stuff to print on for when I need them. So I have printed out my journaling on that graph paper from the Daisy Dory, and now I'm going to finish embellishing this page. So sorry, a little bit of a slow brain today. So I don't want it to be crazy embellished. Like I want it to be simple, like I've been saying. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to embellish the top of this tag and in a couple places on the photo strip, and then I'm going to call it good because I don't want to distract too much from the page and the story. Like I said, sometimes I'm simple, sometimes I'm a little bit more wild and crazy with my journaling, but this felt like a great page to be a little bit more simple. I thought about using all of these teeny tiny bull clips for the page turners, but I end up only using one because I felt like they were so wiggly and moved around so much that three of them together just wouldn't have the effect that I was actually going for because they would move around so much. And I'm going to use stars on this page instead of hearts, which is a departure for me. But I have all these chipboard stars from the Treetop Canopy collection, so I'm going to use those. And then I need some sort of cluster on the top of that tag on the right hand side. And I'm going to actually, instead of poking or punching through and creating a hole in the top of that tag, because there is a hole on the other side, I'm actually going to cover up the portion where the hole is supposed to go for just a little bit of a different effect. I have all of my die cuts and chipboard in this drawer here, so I'm kind of looking through and figuring out what I want to go where by going through that drawer. I do want to add a little note here beyond my journaling because I posted this layout, or I mean not this layout, this photo on Facebook, and I made a joke about how we were auditioning to be the new Daft Punk because our helmets look so futuristic with that mirrored reflection. So I'm adding in that little note, and also because I'm handwriting it and my journaling is typed, it just adds that little bit of character to the layout as well. So I gotta pull off this backing, which is always a struggle for me. And then I'm going to add this word strip too, just for that whole double horizontal vibe. Yep, all right, there we go. Now the last thing I need to do is embellish the top of this tag, and I'm going to do that with this circular piece which will imitate the hole. And then on the other side I'm going to do this chipboard piece that is just polka dot, and I'm going to cover up that whole center portion. Okay, so I felt like it needed something else up there at the top as well. So I'm trying to figure out what to add, and I think I'm gonna go with, what do I go with? Something, aha, wild and free. There we go. Then I'm gonna move this star up here to finish off that cluster. Thought about adding this star over here as well. I think I like that. But I decided to go with the arrow, which I think adds a little bit more to the cluster than that secondary star, so I'm gonna put this one back. And then it's about done. I need to take off those extra bull clips because I'm not loving them. Decided to put it at the top instead to cover up that little white portion. And then I think I'm going to call it good. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I would love to see you over there as well. I'm going to add this little camera in here. I felt like I needed another circle. And I will leave a link to Cocoa Daisy in the description box below. If you are new to Cocoa Daisy and you want to start a subscription, you can use my name at checkout and get a discount off a future purchase. All right, thank you.